Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a silent, high-stakes war that's happening right now all around us in the digital world. We're talking about something called Advanced Persistent Threats, or APTs for short. Think of it as an invisible war fought on our computer networks. So, you think your company's network is locked down tight, right? You've got firewalls, you've got all the latest software, you feel pretty secure. But what if I told you the real danger isn't the person trying to smash the door down? What if they've already got a key and have been living inside your walls for months, completely undetected? And that right there is the whole idea behind an advanced persistent threat. Look, these aren't your typical hackers looking for a quick smash and grab. An APT is way more like a sophisticated, long-term espionage campaign. Their goal isn't just a quick payday, it's the long game. They want to get in, stay hidden, and slowly, quietly, steal the most sensitive data you can imagine. So, what really makes these attackers so different from the rest? Let's take a closer look at who this phantom hacker actually is. Well, the name itself really tells you everything you need to know. The A is for advanced. This means they're using custom, elite-level tools, sometimes even brand new vulnerabilities that nobody else on the planet knows about yet. Persistent is the really scary part. They don't just hit you and run. They stay for months, sometimes even years, constantly changing tactics to stay invisible. And finally, threat, which means this isn't random. They've picked their target, you, and they've done a ton of homework. You know, every great heist has a detailed plan. And in the world of APTs, that plan has a name: the Cyber Kill Chain. It's basically the step-by-step playbook for pulling off the perfect digital robbery. And here it is, the entire operation laid out from beginning to end. This is the playbook that takes an attacker all the way from just gathering information to getting away with the crown jewels. So let's walk through the most critical parts of this heist. So step one is all about homework. They're watching you, they're scrolling through your employees' social media, they're mapping out your IT systems, and they're looking for that one weakest link. It could be an employee who clicks on everything, or maybe a trusted contractor with weak security. They are casing the joint long before they ever try to get inside. Now it's time for the break-in. This usually isn't a brute force attack. It's often a perfectly crafted email, something that looks so legitimate you'd never ever think twice about clicking the link or opening the attachment. And that one single click is all it takes. It delivers their malicious code, finds a tiny crack in your software's armor, and just like that, they're in. The door's been opened. And now for the part that's truly terrifying. They're inside your network, but they move like ghosts. They quietly steal user credentials to hop from one computer to the next, gaining more and more power, all while making their activity look like normal, everyday network traffic. They are silently making their way from the front lobby straight to the main vault. Of course, to pull all of this off, you need more than just a good plan. You need the right tools for the job. So let's take a look inside the APT attacker's toolbox. We're not talking about generic spam here. Spear phishing is a personalized email that looks like it came from your boss. A watering hole attack? Super clever. They'll hack a website they know your employees visit often, like a local lunch spot, and just wait for you to stop by. Supply chain attacks hide their malware inside a software update from a vendor you already trust. And of course, the zero-day exploit. That's their secret weapon, a flaw in software that not even the people who made it know about yet. And believe me, this is not just theory. This stuff happens, and the impact is massive. Stuxnet was a digital weapon that caused actual physical destruction. WannaCry used a leaked government-level exploit to cause chaos across the entire globe in just a matter of hours. And SolarWinds? Well, that showed how one single compromised software update could give attackers the keys to thousands of major companies and government agencies. It's very, very real. Okay, so the threat is real, it's sophisticated, and it's frankly pretty scary. But we are not helpless. So let's flip the script and talk about how you can build a fortress that can actually stand up to these phantom hackers. Now, the most important thing to get right away is this. There is no silver bullet. There's no one magic product you can buy that will solve this problem. The only strategy that truly works is called defense in depth. The idea is you need multiple overlapping layers of security because you have to work under the assumption that eventually one of those layers is going to fail. So what do these layers actually look like? Well, think of your security like guards in a building. Your firewall is like the security guard at the front desk. They check basic IDs, where you're from, where you're going, but they're not inspecting what's in your bag. An IDS, or intrusion detection system, that's like the roaming security patrol, walking the halls and looking for any suspicious behavior. And then you have a WAF, a web application firewall. That's the specialist, the elite guard, standing right in front of the bank vault, meticulously checking every single thing that tries to get near it. And here's a slightly more technical breakdown. A firewall is mostly focused on the network border, blocking traffic from known bad places. An IDS, or IPS, looks deeper at all the traffic, searching for the signatures of known viruses and worms. But a WAF is a total specialist. It focuses only on your web applications, understanding their unique language to stop really sophisticated attacks, like SQL injection. Each guard has a very different and very vital role to play. But here's the thing. Tools alone are only part of the solution. To fight a modern threat like an APT, you absolutely need a modern defense philosophy. And that modern mindset is called zero trust. The old security model was like a castle with a moat, a really hard, crunchy outer shell, but once you got inside, everything was soft and trusting. Zero trust throws that entire model in the trash. It starts with the assumption that the enemy is already inside the castle. It operates on one simple, ruthless principle: never trust, always verify. Every single user, every single device has to prove it is who it says it is every single time it tries to access anything. On top of that philosophy, you have other absolutely critical strategies, using up-to-the-minute threat intelligence to block attackers before they even get to your door. Enforcing what's called the principle of least privilege, which just means people only have access to the bare minimum they need to do their jobs. Training your employees to be a human firewall. And maybe most importantly, proactive threat hunting. That means actively looking for the bad guys in your network instead of just sitting back and waiting for an alarm to go off. And all of this really brings us to the fundamental truth of modern cybersecurity. This isn't a problem that you solve once. It's a battle that you have to be ready to fight every single day. And that leads us to what is probably the single most important takeaway of this entire discussion. To defend against these threats today, you have to completely change your mindset. You have to operate under the assumption that you have already been breached. The question is no longer, how do we keep them out? The question is, how do we find them, knowing they're already inside?